Hello, this is Dr. Lori. Welcome to this introduction to one of the concepts, study design, that we will be focusing on this quarter. Um, what I would like to do as we're getting started is I'd like to highlight a descriptive report from the San Bernardino County Department of Public Health, and it's called Community Vital Signs. If you'd like to know more about community vital signs, then you should you should Google that, community vital signs. You can find out more about what exactly that concept is. But for now, we'll just simply be looking at the report area. So if you click on that link, it will take you to the Community Vital Signs Initiative webpage. There are a variety of things that you can really learn about specifically to community vital signs just by looking at some of the pull down menus. But most important, they've highlighted some of the things that they really want you to focus on. And so, specifically, they've selected four priority areas: education, economy, health and wellness, and safety. And then down here on the right hand side, a little later in this video, we'll actually look at the 2013 report. And so, this is ongoing. Um, if you were to read through this kind of introduction, you would notice that Vital Signs provides a community health improvement framework and basis for aligning resources to improve the health and wellness of county residents. And so this is specific to San Bernardino County. I hope that sounds an awful lot like converting data into information that stakeholders can use. So basically, we take all of these little data points from a variety of different places, sometimes even from different um, government entities or reports or census information, and we compile it all in one place, in one report like this, where people can see the big picture related to a specific topic. So let's go ahead and look at some of these areas. And what I'd like for you to focus on is how do they present this information? They're describing basically what's going on, what the issues are. I just clicked on education. Here's the education landing page. Why is it important? How do the goals align with the countywide vision? And what did the data show? So if you were to read through this, you would say, oh, it looks like more people had less than a high school diploma, and we don't want people to have less than a high school diploma. That means that they may not be um, prepared for a job. That may mean that they aren't able to have gainful employment. We want to keep that number lower, and so they've set specific standards of what they think would be the goals. They're simply telling us in San Bernardino County, here's the percentage of adults, and then of who, and so forth. You can read through the rest of the paragraph, and it basically is just painting a picture. It's describing this for you. If you click on this following link, that will take you specifically to more information about the education specifically. And so here we have a longer description. How do the goals align? What did the community say? Because a lot of this had to do with partnering with the community, a shared responsibility, that sort of thing. And so you can see here we have high school graduation rate. You can click to add additional details. So bachelor's degree or higher. We want to see this gives us a graph of what's been happening over time. And so here we, at our start, notice that the y-axis starts at 19, 20, 21, where really our target is 21. It looks like right now we may be kind of falling down, but if you hover over it, it will tell you the most recent recorded data point was, it looks like sometime in the middle of the year in June or so of 2016. We don't have our 2017 data yet, but then hopefully that will show us some improvement so that this line will be going higher. So this really helps us to see, if we look at all of those different areas, what what this report is trying to convey. We could click on economy, health and wellness, safety. One of the things that I really like to point out about this specifically is their use of graphics. So being intentional to convey information not just with words but with pictures really helps people out. You might want to think about that for your integrated project. Sometimes just a few well-placed, non-cluttered graphics can really help organize your report so that people understand it better. Just those little either icons or tiny little pictures, that kind of thing. I'd also like to look at the written report from 2013, and I went ahead and opened it ahead of time, but if you clicked on that link you would get to this same place. And so here's the 2013 final report. It has a lot of the same information except it's more in a format that is like a published report. And so if we look here at the table of contents, we see some background, the researchers, the history of the Community Vital Signs Initiative, if you're interested in that. The overall snapshot can be found on this one page, and then they go into some of the other descriptive things. What's the demographic profile, looking at education, economy, access to health care, different health conditions, health behaviors, infant health, the built-in natural environment, and community safety. So this the 2013 report had a lot more sections than our Community Vital Signs Initiative webpage did. What I'd like to point out in reports, and they've also talked about community engagements here, but often we can get a sense of their methodology, and that's going to be really key in terms of understanding what they did. And so they talk about how did we choose certain indicators, and specifically in this kind of report they are doing secondary data analysis, which means somebody else collected this data for some other purpose, and then they came along and said, hey, that would really be helpful to us. Can we have a copy of your data so that we can look at it too? Or really compiling even just the results of what other people have found and published. So there's an American Community Survey, the California Health Interview Survey, which is called CHIS, the California Healthy Kids Survey, the Office of Statewide Health Planning and Development. We even have the census down here somewhere. Because we need to have denominator data, Healthy People 2020 objectives, and then they talk about how they did their data analysis a little bit. Often in a report, it's pretty short. A report like this, they don't go extensively, but this particular report does talk about specifically the race ethnicity because that's complicated, and so this can be kind of an important predictive sort of variable or an associated correlating variable. And then they also have some information about the community engagement and how they collected data there. So you can see some of the same kinds of things, small meetings, district meetings, summit. That looks a lot like what you're doing with qualitative research methods for your integrated project with Dr. Handysides. So hunt around. Even sometimes on a website that's presenting information, you can find some more details about the methodology. That's often key in terms of figuring out exactly how you can interpret certain things, especially with cross-sectional data as we find with surveys, which a lot of this data is based on. We have to be really careful about the way we interpret it, and so we'll talk more about that in a future video. Thank you for joining me on this overview of descriptive analyses.